In this video, we take a look at how to do tubular beaded netting. Stay with me and I'll show you how. Tubular beaded netting is an open, airy stitch, good for making floppy rope necklaces and bracelets. So let's get started. As with a flat netting stitch, for this we will also need span beads and accent beads. For my span beads, I'm using these 10 seed beads in gold. And for my accent bead, I'm using these 8 seed beads in green. I've threaded my needle with about an arm span of thread. And I'm going to start picking up sets of beads. A set consists of 1 accent bead and 2 span beads. So I keep picking beads up in that order. 1 accent, 2 spans, 1 accent, 2 spans, and keep picking up beads in that order until you have as many as you need. But make sure that when we're done we have an even number of sets. I've picked up 6. We slide these down, leaving about a 6-inch tail, which we can weave in later. You want to turn these into a circle, so we come back around and sew through that very first accent bead, coming through the bead the same end the tail is coming out of. And just like in flat netting, we're going to sew through the accent beads, but we're going to skip the first one and sew through the second one. So we want to pick up beads in the same order of the beads we're skipping over. So that's 2 spans, an accent, and 2 spans. We skip over the first accent bead and sew through the next one. We pick up that same sequence of beads again, 2 spans, an accent, and 2 spans. We're coming out of this accent bead, we skip over the next, and sew through the next one. We pick up 2 spans, an accent, 2 spans. We're coming out of this accent bead, we skip over the next accent and sew through the next one. And now we see we've come to the end of the round, so we need to step up to the next round. So we sew up through these 2 span beads and the next accent bead. And we're in position to start our next round. And now we continue our next round just like the last one by picking up 2 spans, an accent, 2 spans, and now it gets easier. The next accent bead is dipped and that's the one we skip. And we sew through the next sticking up bead. Pick up 2 span beads, an accent bead, 2 span beads. We skip the dipped bead and sew through the sticking up bead. Pick up 2 spans, an accent, 2 spans. We skip the dipped bead, sew through the sticking up bead, and here we've come to the end of the round, so we sew through the next 2 span beads and the next accent bead. And we're in position to do our next round. Pick up 2 spans, an accent, 2 spans, skip the dipped bead, sew through the next sticking up bead, pick up 2 spans, an accent, 2 spans, skip the dipped bead and sew through the next sticking up bead, pick up 2 spans, an accent, 2 spans. We skip the dipped bead and we've come to the end of our round, so we step up by sewing through the next sticking up bead, the 2 span beads and the accent bead. And that's it, just keep repeating that pattern picking up 2 spans, an accent and 2 spans, skipping the dipped bead and sewing through the sticking up bead. And at the end of each round, we step up by sewing through the next sticking up bead, followed by the next 2 span beads and accent bead. Carry on until you reach your desired length. And that's how to do tubular beaded netting.